All right, so earlier last week, I pondered the odds of Cincinnati beating Notre Dame, and Cincinnati was favored. Maryland beating Iowa, Ole Miss beating Alabama, and Arkansas beating Georgia in each of those games. And yeah, the favorite won, chalk all across. Means there was some moving and shaking among the top 10, though, and at the back of the top 25, with undefeated and ranked teams matched up all over the country during week 5. 3 group of 5 teams are still in the mix to make the college football playoff, but Alabama and Georgia clearly separated with dominating performances against AP number 12 Ole Miss at the time and number 8 Arkansas teams respectively, right? Saturday was just the 24th single day in the 152-year history of the sport where 9 or more ranked teams lost amid the chaos. Though you have 2 choices: apply reason and watch the unreasonable engage in bad faith, or 2, be reasonable and lose all respect for yourself and others. I choose the former. I choose to focus so as not to waste your time or mine. So as I put together this top 25, I will remind you our rankings here at the number 1 ranked show, and our refrain is results matter. Are you undefeated? Who did you beat? Where did you beat them? And what was their ranking? With that in mind, let's take a look at my top 25. Starting at number 25, North Carolina State was 4-1. They defeated Louisiana Tech last week, 34-27. NC State's only loss is to a Mississippi State team with a top 25 win against Texas A&M, and it's got a top 25 win against Clemson in its pocket with an eye toward the ACC title game. At number 24, I have Arizona State. They're 3-1. They defeated UCLA 42-23. ASU's only loss came against a top 10 BYU, and of course they knocked off an AP top 20 UCLA last week. All right, at number 23, I got Texas. They're 4-1. They defeated Texas Christian 32-27. And really, it's time for us to start talking about Bijan Robinson joining Reggie and Matt's Club Heisman. Last week, he had 37 touches for 238 total yards against Gary Patterson's defense, and 216 of those were rush yards. The Longhorns' only loss is to a previously top 10 Arkansas on the road. I also think this is really interesting going into OU Texas this weekend, as Oklahoma does not have a top 25 win on its resume, which we will talk about, and it is an opportunity for Texas to make an argument not just for the Big 12, but also that they belong back in this playoff conversation, and we'll talk about what that might mean. All right, at number 22, I have Ole Miss. They're 4-1. Their only loss is to, of course, Alabama, but they lost 42-21. At number 21, I got Wyoming, who is undefeated. They're coming off a bye this week. So is San Diego State, who I have at number 20, 4-0, coming off a bye this week. Number 19, I got UTSA. Texas San Antonio is 5-0. They defeated UNLV last week, 24-17. The Roadrunners are off to their best start since 2012. Number 18, I got Southern Methodist. They are 5-0. They're coming off a win against South Florida, 41-17. The win means SMU has started each of the last 3 seasons 5-0. It's the first time that's happened since a stretch from 1981 to 1983, where it was one of the 3 best teams in the entire country. That's what I got to say about your group of 5. All right, number 17, I got Ohio State, 4-1, coming off a win against Rutgers, 52-13. All right, right quick, let's do the math on this one. Remember our rankings refrain. Results matter? Yeah, they won. Cool. Are they undefeated, though? Absolutely not. Who did they beat? Minnesota and Rutgers. Child, please, right? Minnesota was putting money in the bag just last week. Where did you beat them? At your place of business, right? Not only were you not on the road for, inhospitable people, but you're in the friendly confines of the shoe. And what were those teams ranked, if at all? The answer is, hell no, they weren't ranked. That's kind of the point here. The team that beat Ohio State, Oregon, though, took a loss to 2-2 Stanford. The team that beat Notre Dame is undefeated, Cincinnati. And then, yes, the team that beat Arkansas is one of the 2 best teams in the sport. I hate it when we get to where we have to rank the best loss, but that's why I continued to cape for a 16-team playoff too. Because, yes, I'm not going to rank Oregon behind Ohio State, especially when Oregon went to Ohio State's place of business and got a W. I'm going to put Oregon at number 16. They are 4-1. Again, lost to Stanford in overtime, 31-24. CJ Verdell went out with an injury. And man, look, while losing to an unranked opponent hurts, the Ducks went on the road to knock off a Buckeye team that has just one loss and has put up 43.3 points a game and at least 41 in each of the last three. Still, the Pac-12's playoff hope has died of the century, okay? That was it for them. There are no undefeated teams left in the Pac-12, which means you got to wait on the good graces of everybody else playing football right now and a college football playoff selection committee that wears a suit to work. It's going to sit in the Gaylord Texan and tell us what they think are the best teams. I hate this. At number 15, I got Notre Dame. They are 4-1. Their only loss is to a top 10 Cincinnati 24-13. The Irish have a top 25 win in their pocket and, again, lost to a top 10 program. We're going to get on them just a little bit later in the show. I got a lot of mo about Cincinnati and Notre Dame, and that's money in the bag tease. Number 14, not 24. Number 14, Arkansas. I got them 4-1. Yes, they lost to Georgia 37-0. The Hogs are a good football team with 2 top 15 wins. They lost to one of the 2 best teams in the entire sport, right? I'm refusing to say those top 15 wins don't matter. At number 13, I got Wake Forest. They are 5-0. They are undefeated. They defeated Louisville 37-34 last week. Wake Forest 5-0, just the third time since 2006 and the first time since 2019. The Demon Deacons are 3-0 in the ACC for the first time since 2011, and they are the lone undefeated team left in the Atlantic Coastal Conference. That's not nothing. At number 12, I got Michigan State. They defeated Western Kentucky 48-31. What do they have that Wake Forest doesn't? A ranked win. You got to take into account what people were ranked when they played them. The rankings have to matter. Number 11, I got Oklahoma State, who defeated Baylor, who was also ranked 24-14. The Pokes held Baylor to 14 points and 280 total yards of offense at kickoff. The Bears averaged 42.8 points per game and 490.8 yards per game. It's the first time OSU has started the season 5-0 since 2015, and their last 2 wins came against, you guessed it, AP top 25 programs. You see this logic at work? Now, interesting question here. Is this Mike Gundy's best coaching job to date? I say absolutely not. Not until he beats Oklahoma and has 1 game to win to get into the national championship game. Remember that 10 years ago? Because I do. All right. Now, we got to go into my top 10. All right? Number 10, I got Coastal Carolina. They are 5-0, defeated Louisiana Monroe 59-6 last week. The Chanticleers have scored 49 points or more in 4 out of their first 5 games. My goodness. And allowed just 9 in their last 2. That is not nothing, all right? Now, number 9, I got Michigan. 5-0, defeated Wisconsin 38-17 on the road. The Wolverines are 5-0 for the first time since 2016. And Jim Harbaugh is 54-22 overall at Michigan since becoming head coach in 2015. Like, check this out. He's also winless against Ohio State, which is at least locally the measure of success for a Michigan coach. It'd be great if the Wolverines were undefeated heading into the game this year, which is at the Big House. But first, they got to get past Big Red, right? Their next opponent, Nebraska, put up 427 rush yards against Northwestern and 657 total. Scott Frost and the Huskers might be getting right just before hosting a top 10 Michigan. Low-key, a very, very good football game. Okay, number 8, Oklahoma, 5-0. Defeated Kansas State 37-31 on the road last week. The win was Oklahoma's 13th in a row. That's the second longest active streak in the country. But they still lack a win against a ranked opponent. Now, it was win number 50 for Coach Lincoln Riley. Only Barry Switzer with 56 total games. Bud Wilkinson with 57 got to 50 wins faster than Riley. Means Riley got there quicker than his predecessor, Bob Stoops, who, yes, is a big noon kickoff analyst. Stoops' alma mater, by the way, we'll talk about in a little bit. They're 5-0. His brother's team, we'll talk about in a little bit, is 5-0. And his son's team, 5-0. Coach Stoops, 15-0 in 2021. Not a bad start for him. Number 7, I got Kentucky. They're 5-0. They defeated Florida 20-13. The Wildcats knocked off Florida in Lexington for the first time since 1986 after losing the last 16 straight in Lexington against the Gators. And it's UK's first win against an AP top 10 team since 2010. Mark Stoops needs just 7 wins to overtake Paul Bear Bryant for the most wins by a Kentucky head coach in school history. Again, that is not nothing. Number 6, I got Cincinnati. They are 5-0, defeated Notre Dame 24-13. Again, we will talk about Cincinnati just a little bit later on. Number 5, I got Brigham Young. They are also 5-0, defeated Utah State 34-20 over the weekend. BYU has twice as many top 25 wins as Cincinnati, Kentucky, Oklahoma, and Michigan combined. G5, Cincinnati, and BYU have more AP top 25 wins than also Oklahoma, Michigan, and Georgia combined. It is not nothing. Number 4, I got Penn State, 5-0, defeated Indiana last week 24 to absolutely nothing, nada, zero, zilch. Penn State is the first team to shut out Indiana since Michigan accomplished the feat in 2000 with a 58-0 win. That's a span of 246 games. The Nittany Lions game at Iowa is the most anticipated meeting between the two in years. And it feels to me like a college football playoff play-in game. A little bit more about that because number 3, I have Iowa. 5-0, defeated Maryland over the weekend, 51-14. Iowa going Bubba Sparks in College Park. Some of y'all get that, and y'all the real ones. The Hawkeyes rolled into Maryland Stadium and took out the previously undefeated Terrapins like Omar and Brother Mouzone did Stringer Bell. I apologize for no wireless spoilers. It's been off TV for like 10 years now. The Hawkeyes haven't allowed more than 24 points in a game since November 23rd, 2018. That's 27 straight games of holding opponents to under 25 points. If you score 4 TDs on the Hawkeyes, by all means, keep the ball. Iowa had 6 interceptions in that game. Again, just going a little bit on Penn State, Iowa. I'm fascinated by this game because I feel that it's going to be a strength on strength here, all right? You're going to watch Spencer Petras go against what I think is a pretty good defense at Penn State, but the strength of Penn State this year has been offensive. Sean Clifford is playing like it's 2019, and we all know Iowa's defense ain't nothing to play with. Matter of fact, you risk everything putting the ball in the air against those boys. Like, they got 15 interceptions on the year, and Riley Moss is back there like a Sean Kilpatrick all-star, like a Reggie Cleveland legend. Some of y'all get that reference, but I'm already locked in to that game, and I'm going to have to juggle all sorts of things. Ohio State, Maryland. I'm going to have to juggle OU, Texas. It's going to be, once again, a full day for your mans who watches all the football to make these rankings. Number 2, I got Georgia. They are 5-0. Arkansas, again, took the L 37-0 at Sanford. What I really think is interesting about this is that people were loud and yelling and screaming at 11 a.m., right, for a kickoff at Georgia, all right? Like, they was already into the sauce and also already getting into Georgia's ear. The false start penalties were things that just Sam Pittman would love to coach out and probably thought he'd coached out. But they've allowed just 1 offensive TD this season at Georgia and outscored SEC opponents 133-13 so far this season and outscored their last 2 SEC opponents 99 to absolutely nothing, not a zero, zilch. The Dogs have allowed just 4.6 points per game this season and are giving up less than 5 yards per passing attempt. It's absurd. The 2021 Georgia defense is hereby christened the Pentagon, because that's where the Department of Defense actually exists. Number 1, I got Alabama, 5-0, defeated Ole Miss 42-21. When Lane Kiffin said, "Get your popcorn ready," I don't think he meant Alabama rolling up 451 yards of offense and Tide tailback Brian Robinson Jr. rushed for 171 yards on 36 rushes for 4 TDs. But then again, maybe he did. Either way, for those of y'all that were here Saturday night, shout out Producer Cat. The popcorn tasted amazing. Has some right here on this set. Hey, kinfolk, I appreciate you for watching. Subscribe here and ring the bell so you don't miss the latest upload to the channel. Also, be sure to watch more videos here, like FS1 Studio shows and the best from Fox Sports and Fox Sports Digital.